This video is designed to give you a bit of an update on how to get to and from Korea when bikepacking. On arrival at Korea, when I went there was still the COVID restrictions. I believe they've now been lifted, but you'll have to check to ensure that that's correct. Getting through customs in Korea is just as easy as coming back home into Australia. It's very straightforward as long as you've got all your documentation and all your electronic visas all in place. For me to get through customs, it took probably less than half an hour, and that was very quick. There are a number of apps I used. These are the four main ones. The first one, the yellow one, is the maps. It shows all the cycleways in Korea. It's very easy to use. It shows your current location. It moves when you move, so getting around even though you can't read the signs, etc. This app makes it very, very easy to get around. The second app was Google Translator that I used a lot. Very handy for trying to read the signs, etc. I found that worked really well. It allowed me to talk to people using the translator. It also allowed me to read all the signs and menus, etc. Strava, which is a common one that most cyclists will use. I use this app mainly so that the family back home could actually see where I was. They could have a look any time. Every night I'd finish that day off so they could sort of see my progress as I travelled around. And the last one was Google Maps, which is really handy for finding things like hotels, other attractions in the area, coffee shops, all that sort of thing. Google Maps doesn't work quite as well in Korea, but it's still a very good app to use. In Korea, they're very bike friendly. You'll see here, this is a way of getting your bikes up and down a lot of steps. They're quite common right across the whole of Korea. Then you have the different cycleways. They're fairly clearly marked. In the larger areas, they're divided so pedestrians can walk down one side and cyclists right down the other. They're clearly marked, as you can see. The next thing you'll see a lot of is what they call pavilion areas. So with the pavilion areas, they're actually places where you can stop and have a meal or rest and that sort of thing. There's also regular bike pumps on the major cycleways. I did the Fall River ride. There's every shop virtually has a pump that they'll lend you if you ask. They're very pro cycling, so you won't have any issues in that regard with people. I found the traffic was very good. A lot of cars will stop for you, actually give way for it to you. Unlike Australia, they're very pro cycling, so that makes life very much a pleasure to ride bikes around in Korea. Camping is quite a popular pastime, so if you're going on a backpacking or bikepacking holiday like I did, you'll find there's plenty of places where you can put up a tent, etc. You'll find the people in Korea are very, very friendly. If you take the time to have a chat and talk, if you can, they'll be over generous. This group, I actually rode with them for about 10 kilometres. So this is what they call a pavilion, a good spot to stop and have lunch and a bit of a break. In some areas you can even put your tent up underneath them, so if it's raining it's a nice dry spot to camp. And yeah, they're all over the place, so you won't have any trouble finding those. If you want to make life really easy, you could bring a folding bike. There's a lot of those used in Korea and makes it very easy when you're flying and travelling on trains. So getting around in Korea by train, you've got to find out exactly what trains will allow you to take a bike. This first photo shows a train going from Busan back to Seoul. Cost 28 bucks, 500 odd kilometres, so it was pretty good value. You can see it's got charging ports there for your iPhones, so that's where you sit, so you can sit right beside your bike, and then you can keep an eye on it all the way back. Very comfortable. You can't catch a bullet train with a bike unless it folds up and you can put it in a bag. Those sorts of bikes are fairly common, but when you've got a full size touring bike, it's a bit harder. So you've got to double check exactly what trains you're allowed to get on and at what times. The trains are very regular, they're very clean, and they're very, very cheap. 28 bucks is nothing to travel 500 kilometres. This photo shows the train going out to the airport from Seoul. You catch the all stations train. It takes a little bit longer, it's about an hour and a half, something like that. But again, it's a very good train, and there's no problems about getting your bike on. So you can't catch the express train, so just allow that bit of extra time, and you can jump on this train, which is, like I said, all stations, and it gets you straight to the airport. Just like in Australia, the station's right under the airport, so you virtually walk straight out across to the train station. So when it comes to getting back home to Australia or anywhere else from Korea, there's this shop in the main airport. They'll actually box your bike up. So I pulled my bike apart. They packed it all in for me. I made sure it was done the way I wanted to do it. They boxed it up very well, and then it got back to Australia with no problems. They did a lot better job than I did coming over, and everything stayed intact for the whole trip. It wasn't very expensive. It was $50 for that service, and they also stored the bike for about 6 hours. So I hope this vlog has helped. If you're planning on going to Korea, I highly recommend it. It's a great place to ride, a great place to visit, lots of good sights, lots of really good food, and yeah, I hope you enjoy yourself. Thanks a lot. Bye.